Take a deep breath. Silence the thoughts. Calm your heart. Extend your hand, not out of habit, but as if seeking the Father's touch. At this very moment, a window opened between heaven and earth. And you were called in. I am here. I am the Lord who sees you. Nothing you've experienced so far is a coincidence. No tears were wasted. No prayer went unnoticed. Since before you were born, this moment was already separate. While everything around you seemed ordinary, I had already scheduled this meeting between your soul and my voice. You were not drawn to this video by chance. It was my hand that guided you here. It was my spirit that awakened you to listen. I prepared you myself for this very second. And no matter how lost, alone, tired or even forgotten you may have felt, I tell you, I never walked away. I've always been here. Always. In the silence of nights when no one understood you anymore. On the days when you wore a smile while your soul begged for help. In each of these hours, I was by your side, supporting you without you realizing it. Now, I want you to listen with your heart. The sky is moving. Something supernatural began to happen at the exact moment you decided to stay. Don't ignore what you're feeling. This sudden peace. That heat that runs through your body. That urge to cry for no reason. It is my presence. It is my spirit bearing witness within you that I am real, that I am faithful and that I am here. Today, at this moment, the sky opened over your life. And I am releasing something that will completely change your story. I'm breaking cycles. Breaking reps, sending responses. I saw the nights when you prayed without knowing if anyone was listening. I saw the days when you thought about giving up because everything seemed to be stuck. But I have not forgotten a single word that came out of your mouth. I didn't walk away when everyone else left. I stayed. And that's why you hear me now. Because I stayed. And because I stayed, something new began. You have been called to a new time. The season has changed. What before seemed closed, with no way out, without direction, is now being realigned by my hands. And it won't be like before. Because this time, it's not the strength of your arm that will open the way. It is the strength of my promise. You won't just see an improvement. You will see a transformation. You will not only have comfort. You will have a living, palpable, evident answer. Because my word does not return void. And I'm talking to you now. Listen. The glory that I have prepared for this time is greater than the pain you faced to get here. The wounds were not in vain. They were doors for you to know my consolation. The weights were not punishment. They were fertile soil where I planted deeply. And today, the sky opened. And what was once just a seed of faith is now beginning to blossom. You are in a spiritual place where many have longed to be. A place of revelation. A place where I speak straight to the heart. And when I speak, everything aligns. When I speak, chaos finds meaning. When I speak, even what seemed dead breathes again. And I'm talking. Now. Like you. Right now. It's not for tomorrow. It's not just any day. It's today. And now. Because I saw that you chose to remain even without understanding. I saw that you held on tight even when everything seemed to push you back. And because you didn't let go of my hand, I didn't let go of yours either. I called you to this time. And I called you to see what many did not believe would be possible. I called you to prove my faithfulness. I called you to live the miracle I declared over you before you even existed. Comment now with faith, I receive this word. Testify with your own voice that you believe, that you choose to remain, that you heard my voice and that it touched your spirit. Because this is not the end. It is the beginning of what I prepared from the beginning. And if you've heard this far, it's because something new has already begun. Take a deep breath. I am here. Do you remember the times you prayed with wet eyes, without having any more words, just a sigh? I saw. Your every whisper reached my throne as a cry of faith. Even when everything seemed still, even when time seemed frozen and you wondered if I still heard you, I was listening. I was counting each tear like a precious seed. I was marking each moment of waiting as part of an eternal plan. Nothing was ignored. None of your pain was in vain. I saw you continue even without strength. I saw you loving it while carrying the weight of unanswered questions. I saw you when no one else did. And that touched my heart. Your silent fidelity, your stubborn hope, your faith that seemed fragile, but never faded. All of this rose like a pleasant incense. And because of that, the sky moved. I stood up for you. The promise that seemed distant is now close. What seemed impossible in your eyes has already been released from mine. Today is the beginning of the answer you thought would never come. I am transforming the invisible into visible. I am removing the veil that hid the fulfillment of what I declared about you. It will not be symbolic. It will be real. It will be visible. It will be palpable. And it will be so much greater than you imagined that you will understand that it could only have come from me. Because I am the God who surprises, who exceeds, who honors those who remain even without seeing. The approaching miracle is supernatural. And it will not come by predictable means. It won't be the way you calculated or expected. Because it will not be the result of logic, it will be the result of a promise. I am opening a door that no one can close. I am moving people, situations, and even structures so that my will is fulfilled. There will be provision where there was scarcity before. There will be honor where there was once shame. I am your provider, God, and nothing is impossible for me. Your eyes will see what your knees supported. You will reap what you sowed in pain. Many thought that you were wasting time, that your faith was in vain, that your prayers were just words thrown into the wind. But I was listening. And I am the God who responds at the right time. And the right time is now. I'm not late. I'm not mistaken. I am the God of covenant. What I promised, I fulfill. What I released is enough. What I start, I finish. The blessings that come are not limited to what you asked for. They go beyond. Because while you asked enough, I was preparing abundance. While you were asking for escape, I was preparing expansion. While you asked for relief, I prepared a turnaround. You will not be known for the pain you faced, but for the glory you will carry. Not for losses, but for restitution. Not for scarcity, but for the abundance that will testify of my faithfulness to you. Don't be afraid of the means. Don't fear the unknown. Do not try to understand with the mind what has been released in the spirit. There will be connections that come out of nowhere. People you never imagined, used by me to bless you. Places you never thought you would visit, doors you never considered opening, everything will begin to align in an inexplicable way. And the more you trust, the faster you will see progress. Because this is the time of acceleration, and I am hastening the fulfillment of the promise. Pay attention, what you are feeling right now is not an illusion. This certainty that invades your heart for no apparent reason, this warmth in your chest, this unexpected tear, this deep stillness, all of this is the testimony of my spirit within you saying, the time has come. The time to see with your eyes what you held with faith. The time to reap where you sowed with tears. The time to smile where before there was only silence. Share this message with someone who is waiting for a miracle. Because just as I marked your moment, I can also use your obedience to reach another life. There are blessings that multiply when they are divided. And what I am doing in you may be just the beginning of a wave of miracles in the lives of many. You have been achieved by purpose. And all of this is just the beginning. Continue. I am here. Even if you don't see it yet, the miracle has already begun. There are things that can only be perceived with the Spirit. And now, at the very moment you hear me, the sky is in motion. Doors are opening. Hearts are being touched. People you have never seen are being prepared by me to be part of your response. What I am doing is supernatural. And it all starts in the invisible. The release has already been ordered. And nothing can prevent the fulfillment of my will in your life. You don't need to see it to believe it. You just need to believe to see. Because when I act, the evidence comes after the promise. First I speak, then I comply. First I plant, then I make it grow. And that's exactly what I'm doing now, planting a living, powerful, unbreakable seed in your spirit. A miracle seed. A seed of fresh start. A seed that will bloom at the right time, even if the soil still seems dry today. Stand firm. Do not allow the noise around you to disconnect you from what I am revealing. Because many will say that nothing is happening. Many will not notice the change. But you will feel it. You will notice the small signs. You will see the details. Because my spirit will give you sensitivity to recognize each divine movement. I'm changing everything in your favor. Around you, it may seem like everything remains the same. But inside you, something has already changed. And what changes inside, transforms everything outside. Listen carefully, I'm touching people you don't know. I am awakening distant hearts. I'm leaning wills. Creating unexpected connections. Facilitating paths. Opening possibilities that were not in your plan, but are in mine. And when I write a new chapter, no previous page can limit what will come. No failure, no loss, no past has power over what I have established. You are mine. And because it's mine, I take care of it. I protect. I anticipate evil and block attacks before they reach your heart. I fight for you when you sleep. I send angels when you don't even know the danger. I put peace where there was war. And when you invite me, I settle in, not as a visitor, but as a dwelling. I remain. I maintain. I guide. Because whoever belongs to me is never helpless. Don't move away from this moment. Don't get distracted. Don't let the rush steal what I'm pouring over you. My presence is subtle but powerful. My voice is soft but firm. And every word I give you now is a key. A key that opens invisible doors. A key that unlocks areas of your soul that were locked by pain, by fear, by past experiences. I'm turning that key now. You can feel it. The weight is coming off. The anguish is dissolving. The heart is being renewed. What starts today will mark your story. It will be a divider. It won't be like before. You will not come out of this moment the same. There will be a difference in your look, in your words, in your attitudes. Because where there is revelation, there is transformation. And I am revealing my love, my faithfulness, my care, and my promise. All of this is being released like a river over your soul. A river of life. Restoration. Of living hope. It's not just another message. It's a calling. A seal. A spiritual summons. And those who respond to this call never return to the same place. You are being repositioned. What was stuck starts to move. What was confusing begins to become clear. What seemed lost begins to return to your hands. Because I am the God who changes times and seasons. And I am decreeing upon you, a new time has arrived. If this message touched your heart, like this video now and subscribe to the channel. This is a way of declaring that you receive this word and remain connected to what heaven is releasing. May each click be a spiritual confirmation that you have chosen to believe, remain, and walk in obedience to my voice. Because what I started, no one can stop. And what I planted now will grow. I am here. I'm still talking. I'm still acting. Don't stop. Don't back down. Continue. The best is ahead. Can you feel it? That restlessness in your chest, that sudden heat, that feeling that something is changing inside. It's not random. It is my spirit working in you right now. There are chains that are being broken. There are weights being lifted. There are strongholds being torn down in the silence of this moment. You are not just listening to a message. You are experiencing a breakup. A spiritual divider. An intervention from heaven that began in the depths of your being. For a long time you carried pains that you couldn't explain. You carried weights that weren't yours. Been oppressed by inner voices that repeat lies about who you are. I saw when you believed that nothing would change. I saw when you thought you would have to live forever with certain emptiness, with that silent anguish that accompanied you even on good days. But today I say, it has already begun. Your liberation began the exact moment you opened your heart to listen. What once dominated you has lost strength. What once paralyzed you is being undone. What once oppressed you is now being destroyed by my presence. It's not about emotion. This is not a suggestion. It is a real, deep and continuous movement. You are being invaded by light. A light that expels darkness, that reveals what was hidden, that heals old wounds. And all of this is happening without noise, without fanfare, because the greatest miracles don't make a spectacle, they become silence. And that's what I'm doing to you now. Transforming into the secret. Restoring without haste. Healing from the inside out. There are prisons that were created by experiences, by cursed words, by old traumas, by fears that lodged themselves in the soul. But today these prisons are being opened. Not by your strength, but by the authority of my name. I'm breaking shackles you didn't even know you carried. I am dismantling structures that you had already naturalized. I am revealing to your spirit that I have called you to live in freedom. And where my spirit is, there is freedom. And I am here. I am right now within this space that you have given me. I'm operating. Acting. Pouring deliverance. You will understand. Even today, you will notice that old thoughts have lost control. Feelings that dominated you before will no longer have the same weight. You will look at situations with different eyes. You will react more lightly. You will sleep more peacefully. Because I am aligning you with heaven. I am restoring your interior so that you can sustain what I am preparing on the outside. And it all starts with this breakup. With this invisible break that is already underway. His shoulders were overloaded. His spirit, restless. But now you will breathe differently. You'll walk more steadily. You will feel like something has been ripped away, removed, dissolved. Because that's what I do when I visit a real heart. I take off the weight. I take the pain. I undo soul ties. I enter where no one else has access. I play where no one else has been able to play. And what I'm doing to you, no one else can undo. I know you didn't always understand the fight you were fighting. There were days when everything seemed normal on the outside, but on the inside it was like you were at war. Thoughts that exhausted you, guilt that wouldn't let you rest, voices that accused you even when you tried to do the right thing. But today I show you that it wasn't weakness, it was a spiritual battle. And you won by staying. You won by not giving up. You won when you chose to hear this word, when you chose to stop everything to listen to me. The spiritual war that surrounded you begins to give way. Because I entered the battle. I stood up for you. I am standing between you and the enemy. And where my presence arrives, evil retreats. Where I speak, the lie is silenced. Where I move, the impossible bends. So trust. Keep listening. Stay connected. Because what started here won't stop. I'll go all the way with you. What was once a cycle of pain is now a portal of transformation. And it all started at the exact moment you decided to listen to me. This is just the beginning. I am here. Still acting. Still talking. Still breaking through. Because you are mine. There are brands that you carry and don't even know where they came from. Recurring thoughts that don't make sense, heavy feelings that have no logical explanation. You try to move forward, but it's like something is pulling you back. You pray, but it seems like a silent voice inside you convinces you that it's no use. And do you know why? Because what you face didn't start with you. Many of the battles you experience today are spiritual legacies from other generations. Repetitive patterns. Pain cycles. Invisible chains that grew stronger over time and became part of your story without you realizing it. But today I declare, this cycle ends here. I, the Lord, am interrupting spiritual repetitions that have imprisoned your lineage for years. Emotional traumas that were perpetuated. Words thrown at your parents, your grandparents, your home. Unbroken curses. Unhealed wounds. I'm going to the root of what limits you. Not just to alleviate symptoms, but to root out the source. And it all starts now. At this very moment when you hear me and your heart opens, I begin to cut what seemed unbreakable. You are not responsible for everything you inherited, but you can be the end point of everything that should no longer continue. I chose you to be the one who breaks the cycle. He who says, enough, in the spiritual world. The one who turns the key to the lineage. And not by human strength, but by my authority. I put a new language in your mouth. I place a new identity in your heart. What others accepted as normal, you will no longer accept. What was once standard will now be the exception. Because your life was set apart to break, not to repeat. I'm rewriting your story. And that includes healing wounds that are not just yours, but that you carried as if they were. I am restoring your spiritual memory. Clearing what was distorted. Undoing the inner voices that tried to repeat old lies. The ones that said you weren't capable, that you would never work out, that you were a mistake, that no one would choose you, that you would always be rejected. These voices are being silenced now. Because the only voice that will remain will be mine. And I tell you, you are my beloved son. You are chosen. You are separate. You are free. This liberation that starts within you will reach other people. Children, siblings, parents, family members. I am a God of generations. And when I visit someone, I don't just come for one, I come to change the whole flow. Because of you, cycles will be undone. Because of you, others will have access to what once seemed impossible. Because of you, there will be healing in homes where before there was only conflict. Because you said yes. Because you chose to listen to me. Because you no longer accepted living trapped in what was pushing you back. And no, it won't be a superficial breakup. It won't be something temporary. I'm talking about a structural, spiritual, profound change. Something that is born today and will flourish over the next few days. Something that will begin in silence, but will have evidence that no one can deny. They will look at you and not recognize you. They will ask what happened. And you will know, it was heaven. It was God. It was liberation. You are not the repetition of your traumas. You are the restart of your lineage in me. I anointed you to break through. I anointed you to start over. I anointed you to restore. And what was once a legacy of pain, will now be a legacy of faith, peace, authority. You carry the mark of the breakup within you. The anointing to free. The seal of someone who was visited by me and did not return the same. If this word reached you, comment now, 7777, as a prophetic act. Write this number declaring in the spirit, the cycle is over, I have been freed. This is your response in the natural to what I have just accomplished in the supernatural. Witness with faith what has begun now. Because heaven has already recorded it. And hell has already retreated. You have been freed forever. And that's just the beginning. I am here. Remaining in you. Breaking whatever is necessary for you to live free as I created you to be. As you listen to me now, something is being prepared. You don't see it yet, but the movement has already begun. The Spirit is acting in dimensions that your eyes cannot reach. There is a move of heaven happening behind the scenes in your life. Angels are being sent with specific directions. Doors are being opened without noise. Hearts are being touched to be in the right place at the right time. Nothing stands still. Everything is moving according to the plan I laid out for you before you were even born. Every second that you remained believing, even without signs, was a step towards fulfillment. I saw when you resisted tiredness. I saw when you chose to wait even without understanding why. And so now I am aligning you with realization. I'm repositioning your life. What seemed stagnant will begin to flow. What seemed confusing will start to make sense. Because I am organizing the invisible before manifesting the visible. Don't think I'm delaying. I'm protecting you. Because I don't deliver promises on shaky ground. I clean first. I first restore. I prepare first. And that is what I have been doing up until now, preparing you to sustain what I have declared. The fulfillment of the promise will not be an isolated event. It will be the beginning of a new cycle with a solid foundation, with a strengthened structure, with sharpened discernment. Because what I release, I sustain. You don't need to fear processes you don't yet understand. There are things that frustrated you, doors that closed, decisions that seemed wrong, and even separations that hurt. But all of this had a reason. And I was behind each one of them. I closed doors to free you. I removed people to protect you. Allow waiting to mature you. And now that the time has passed, everything begins to align. The pieces that seemed disconnected will fall into place. The paths that previously seemed blurry will now be illuminated. You are not at the end. You are in the middle of fulfillment. Even though everything seems the same, time has changed. The sky opened. And the season has changed. Now is the time for acceleration. Time in which the seed germinates quickly, in which the fruits ripen ahead of schedule. Because I am the God who speeds up times when the heart is ready. And your heart is ready. I took charge of preparing it myself. I shaped you. I strengthened you. I purified you. And now the time has come. As you abide in this word, things are being unlocked around you. There are spiritual ties being broken. There are invisible resistances being destroyed. There are impediments being ripped out of your way. And all of this does not depend on your effort, but on my authority. I, the Lord, am the one who goes before you. It is I who breaks the walls, who removes the obstacles, who builds the road where before there was only dry land. And this road will lead you straight to the fulfillment of the promise. You are not just being comforted. It is being equipped. Because what will come will require maturity, courage, spiritual sensitivity. And that's what I'm spilling on you now. A new anointing. A renewed vision. A firmer faith. A deep certainty that, even without understanding everything, I am in control. And that is enough for you to move forward with peace in your heart and living hope. Share this message with someone who is also waiting for a move from God. Perhaps this person needs exactly this confirmation. The Spirit is still acting, even in silence. Be the channel that brings this revelation to her. Because the same God who is moving through your life also wants to reach others through you. And everything that started now is still just the beginning. I am here. Moving on with you. Acting with power in the invisible so that, at the right time, everything becomes visible. And glorious. You are not what they said about you. It's not what they did to you. It's not what the past tried to tattoo on your mind. You are what I say you are. And today, with my own voice, I declare, you are mine. You are loved. You are chosen. You are valuable. Nothing that you have experienced so far has more authority than the word that I am releasing now about your life. I'm rebuilding your identity. The one that was broken in silences, in looks, in harsh words, in rejections, in comparisons. I am restoring the value that time tried to erase. You are not a mistake. You are not insufficient. You are not invisible. Even when you felt forgotten, isolated, without a voice, I saw you. When you compared yourself to others, thinking that you would always be left behind, I was already writing a story where you would be highlighted by grace. When they thought you would come to nothing, I had already released an eternal purpose upon you. Because I see it differently. While the world sees appearance, I see heart. And your heart attracted me. Even though he was injured, he continued searching. Even though he was tired, he didn't give up. And that is why now I manifest myself with power over you. The falls you had did not nullify what I said. The mistakes you made did not cancel the promise. The shame you have carried for so long will be replaced by honor. I don't raise the perfect ones. I lift up those who recognize that they need me. I do not use those who think they are ready. I use the ones that are willing to be shaped. And you have been shaped in the silence, in the hidden, in the secret. Now it's time to leave the cave. Time to rise up as someone who knows who they are in me. I don't just see where you are. I see where I'm taking you. And the place I'm taking you to doesn't match the lies you believed about yourself. That's why I'm deleting these voices. The one that said you weren't enough. The one who repeated that everyone would leave you. The one that said you would never succeed, that you would always depend on someone, that you would never be healed, that you would never be complete. All of these voices are being silenced now. Because my voice is the one that prevails. And my voice says, you are free. You are empowered. You are worthy of living the extraordinary experience I have prepared for you. What defined you before no longer defines you. The pain that marked childhood. The abandonment that left a scar. The relationship that hurt. The words that diminished. None of this has the power to determine your value. I form you again. I call you again. I lift you up again. And not with what is left, but with what is new. You will not be remembered for what you lost, but for what you carry. And what you will carry from today is glory, presence, authority, living testimony of someone who was touched by heaven and never became the same again. What seemed like failure will be a showcase of my power. Your pain will be the scene of my healing. Your new beginning will be so remarkable that many will ask what happened. And you will know, it was the hand of God. It was the Father's love. It was heaven that visited me and redefined my story. And no one will be able to erase this seal. For whoever touches what I have marked touches my inheritance. And you are heritage. You are special treasure. You are living proof that I restore what the world discarded. If this word found your heart and you know that it was God speaking to you, like this video now and subscribe to the channel. This action is not just a gesture, it is a declaration. I receive this new identity. I accept living what God has prepared for me. And in doing so, you position yourself in the natural to confirm what is already sealed in the spiritual. Because I started something new in you. And what I begin, no one can stop. You are no longer who you were. You are what I said you are. And there is still a lot to come. I am here. And I don't leave my side. Now that you have begun to see who you really are in me, I will teach you how to walk safely. No longer by instinct, no longer by impulse, but by discernment. I am tuning your spiritual ears. You will begin to notice what previously went unnoticed. What once seemed just coincidence will now be understood as direction. What previously generated doubt will now be translated into peace. Because where I guide, I confirm. Where I send, I prepare. And from today onwards, you will be guided by revelation, not reaction. You will no longer live hostage to emotions. You will no longer make decisions based on fear, lack, or anxiety. Because I am teaching you to discern the time and the manner. There are doors that seemed right, but were closed out of mercy. There are paths that seemed good, but didn't lead to your destination. And even without understanding, you were spared. Now, with your spirit more sensitive, you will begin to see the signs that you previously ignored. You will begin to distinguish what comes from me from what comes to confuse you. And this clarity will be your most powerful weapon. You will no longer need to force doors. You will no longer need to run to prove your worth, nor seek recognition in places where your name will never be remembered. When the door is mine, it will open lightly. There will be peace. There will be grace. There will be fluidity. And when there is confusion, you will know, not now, not this way. I myself will be the brake on your heart when the path is not the right one. And I will be the silent impulse when it is time to act. This is how I guide my children, with precision, with peace, with love. Not all silence will be absence. Not every delay will be denial. Sometimes silence is my care. This is the time when I prepare the scene. It's the time when I tune your ears so that, when the right door opens, you don't hesitate, don't question, just enter. And you will enter. Because I'm preparing you for this. To no longer live in doubt. So as not to sway with every wind. So as not to get lost among many voices. Because my voice will be the main one. And you will recognize it even in the midst of chaos. You will begin to notice me in the details. In phrases, in encounters, in sensations, in subtle confirmations. I will be in everything. Because I always have been. But now, your eyes have been opened. Now your spirit has been awakened. And everything will change. Even the way you deal with waiting will be different. Because you will know that you are not waiting by chance. He is being trained. It is being positioned. It is being tuned so as not to lose anything I have prepared. There are directions that I only give to those who decide to listen. There are secrets that I only reveal to those who remain. And you remained. Even when you didn't understand. Even when he felt like giving up. Even when he thought he was alone. You stayed. And so, now, I speak. And what I say remains. I am establishing a new level of sensitivity about you. Not so that you become dependent on signs, but so that you walk wisely. So that you can be sure in the spirit before moving in the natural. You will learn to wait when necessary. And you will know how to act without fear when the time comes. Because peace will be your confirmation. And doubt will be the signal to wait. I am training you to trust me more than your emotions. To walk more by faith than by necessity. To live more by revelation than by logic. Because your story with me is supernatural. And what I prepare for you requires discernment. It won't be for everyone. But it will be for you. And you will be ready. Because I prepare you myself. The time of confusion is coming to an end. The time of walking without knowing where you are going is ending. You will have clarity. It will have direction. There will be balance. Because my light will illuminate your path. And even when the scenario doesn't seem ideal, you'll know it's there. Because you will have learned to recognize my presence, and where I am, there is your path. Trust. Remain sensitive. Because I'm talking. And whoever learns to listen to me will never be lost again. I am here. Guiding you. Teaching you. Aligning you with the sky. And everything will be different from here. You have been trying so hard. Trying to get it right, trying to please, trying to do everything the right way. But still, you often feel like you're not enough. As if something was always missing. As if, despite all the effort, things didn't go as they should. But today I want to free you from this silent charge. Because what I am about to do in your life will not be proportional to your effort, but to my grace. The favor that I have released upon you is not a performance reward. It is the result of an alliance. I don't choose the strongest. I choose those who depend on me. I don't look at who runs faster, who speaks better, who seems more ready. I look at the heart that gives itself. For the spirit that surrenders. For those who recognize that, without me, they can do nothing. And you arrived at this place. The place of surrender. The place where your effort stops and my hand begins to act. The place where the heavy burden falls and is replaced by my easy yoke. I know how many times you've tried on your own. How many times have you believed that if you did more, if you were more perfect, if you had more strength, things would finally happen. But what I prepared for you cannot be achieved with human strength. It is received by faith. It is sustained by trust. It is experienced through obedience. And now that you understand this, now that you have let go of control, I can act with freedom. Because what previously depended on your tiredness will now be generated by rest. I'm teaching you to live in a new rhythm. A rhythm of grace. A compass of favor. Where doors open because I opened them. Where connections arise because I created them. Where resources arrive because I am the source. And in this new time, you will no longer live through anxiety. You will no longer run out of fear. You will no longer react out of desperation. You will be led by peace. And each advance will be marked by lightness. For where there is my favor, there is rest. And where there is rest, there is harvest. You need to know this. I don't change my mind about you because of your faults. My faithfulness does not fluctuate according to your performance. What I promised, I will fulfill. What I released will manifest. Not because you deserve it, but because I am good. Not because you did everything right, but because I decided to love you. And my love does not depend on results. He is constant. He is firm. He is eternal. And it is upon this love that my promises rest. What will come will be so evident, so remarkable, so transformative, that no one will be able to say it was your work. Everyone will know, it was God. It was the favor of the Lord. It was the grace of heaven. And you will experience this not as someone who achieved it on merit, but as someone who was surprised by love. Because this is the mark of my children, they receive what they could not achieve. They live what they could not afford. They carry what they could never imagine supporting. So stop charging yourself so much. Stop measuring yourself based on what you haven't done yet, what you haven't achieved yet. You are not your progress. You are not your productivity. You are mine. And that alone is enough for me to sustain you. Allow yourself to rest in me. Allow yourself to believe that I take care of everything. That I see what you don't see. That I know the details you forgot. And that I have resources where you can't imagine. Nothing has escaped my control. I continue to be God. If this word touched your heart, enjoy this video now as an act of faith. A simple yet powerful gesture declaring, I choose to rest in God's favor. Let each click be confirmation that you understand, it's not about deserving, it's about trust. And when you trust, I act. When you rest, I build. When you deliver, I deliver. Because the work is mine. The promise is mine. And victory will be too. I am here. And I haven't stopped taking care of you. The season has changed. The time that seemed endless, the winter of your soul, the long and silent crossing where nothing flourished, has come to an end. I led you here, step by step, even when you didn't know it was me who was guiding you. I saw every tear shed in the dark. I heard every whispered prayer when no one else was around. And even though the time of waiting has tired you, I say, the time for harvest has arrived. You planted with tears. Now you will reap with joy. You persisted even when everything told you to stop. You remained even when the scenario seemed otherwise. And I honor those who remain. I reward those who seek me even in the valley. I exalt those who recognize me even when they see nothing happening. Because faith is not just believing in what you hope for, it's continuing when everything screams that it's already over. And you continued. Therefore, now, I rise over your life with glory. The time of scarcity is being replaced by the time of abundance. What was pain will now be testimony. What was silence will now be song. What was a hidden seed will now become visible fruit. You will be remembered not for what you suffered, but for what you endured with faith. Not because of the losses, but because of what you will carry from now on. For where there was shame, there will be double honor. And what you lived in secret will now be rewarded before many. I am the God of restitution. I restore what was stolen. I multiply what was taken. I bring back what seemed impossible to recover. I don't just return it, I remake it. I not only heal, but I perfect. And what I'm doing to you will be so remarkable that everyone around you will notice. You won't need to explain yourself. The fruit will speak for itself. The change will be noticeable. The shine in the eyes will be visible. Because my presence will leave living marks on you. I was with you in the time of loss, and I will be with you in the time of abundance. But know, what will come will not be heavy. Because when I bless, I don't add pain. You will not need to worry about maintaining what I maintain. You won't need to prove anything to anyone. The only thing I ask is, remain in me. Keep listening to me. Keep seeking me. Because the more you align yourself with heaven, the more heaven manifests itself in your life. Don't fear the days ahead. Don't question whether it's really true. Just trust. Because the same hand that sustained you in the desert is the one that now leads you to the fertile field. You did not enter this new season alone. I'll go ahead of you. I open the doors. I prepare the meetings. I unlock the resources. And everything that seemed stuck will begin to flow naturally. Because this is the time of grace. Time where you experience what you could not achieve through your own efforts. And remember that promise you almost forgot. Of that dream that seemed lost. I haven't forgotten. I wrote it down. I preserved. And now, in this time of harvest, I bring to the surface what you had already buried deep in your soul. Because I am faithful even when you doubt. And even if I gave up at some point, I didn't give up. What is mine remains. What I start, I finish. And the good work that I started in you, now begins to manifest itself before your eyes. Share this word with someone who is also coming out of a difficult season. Because just as I marked your life for this new time, there are others who need to know that their winter is also coming to an end. Be an instrument in my hands to spread hope. Because there are many harvests that begin with a simple seed of faith planted in the heart of those who listen. And you will be a witness to what I will do, in you, and through you. I am here. The season has changed. And you are ready to blossom. While you thought everything was at a standstill, I was realigning your story perfectly. There was not a single second in which I was absent from the scenes of your life. Even when you thought you were alone, even when everything seemed stagnant, I was working. Silently, but precisely. Removing what wouldn't take you forward. Restoring what was really part of the plan. Cutting out what blocked your growth. And sewing new routes with the invisible threads of my sovereignty. Some goodbyes hurt you. Some closed cycles confused you. Some people left your life and you didn't understand why. But I understood. And it was out of love that I closed doors. It was out of care that I kept people away. It was out of zeal that I did not allow certain bonds to continue. Because what I prepared for you doesn't hold the old one. What is to come requires lightness, maturity, alignment. And there were connections that would delay this purpose. So I, in silence, trimmed, removed, emptied, so that you wouldn't miss what was coming. I know it hurt. I saw your unanswered questions. I saw you trying to understand where you went wrong. But it wasn't a mistake. It was progress. It was transition. It was me, positioning you. Because many want something new, but few are willing to let go of what is no longer useful. And you, even without understanding, accepted it. You trusted. You followed. And now begins the harvest of the difficult choices you held in faith. Now you begin to see the value of the no's, the silences, the losses that, in fact, were deliverances. There were also reconnections. People who came back into your life at the right time. Bonds restored. Healed ties. Because what is yours, no one can take. And what belongs to God, time does not erase. I restore what is mine. I uphold what is true covenant. And everything that is based on me remains, matures and flourishes. That's why today you begin to realize that even the reunions were not random. They were programmed. They were written. They were lined up. I'm fitting everything in. Situations that seemed loose now make sense. Decisions that once seemed like mistakes now show their fruits. Paths that seemed to have come to nothing now reveal their seeds. Because I never wasted your steps. Even the paths you thought you followed alone were under my gaze. And even when you went off course, I used this detour to teach you, prepare you, and make you return with more wisdom. You are being positioned to live the new. And this new one demands space. It demands clarity. It demands that you no longer carry old weights or past voices. That's why I emptied you. That's why I allowed certain things to be taken away. It wasn't to punish you, it was to align you. Now, with less noise, you hear better. With less luggage, you walk lighter. With fewer distractions, you see more clearly. This was all part of the process. And now, finally, you begin to understand. The next doors that will open before you will not require effort, but discernment. And you will know how to enter them without fear. Because now you are ready. Ready to move forward. Ready to embrace the new. Ready to honor what was previously unappreciated. Ready to take care of what I put in your hands. Because the time of immaturity has passed. Now is the time to bear fruit. Time to build wisely. Time to flourish with stability. If you feel that this word is in line with what you have been experiencing, subscribe to this channel now. Because what began in secret will be continually fed with revelations like this. This simple action keeps you connected with what heaven is releasing into your life. And where there is continuity, there is growth. Where there is permanence, there is multiplication. I'm not just visiting you. I am establishing a new phase. And everything around you begins to respond to this new time. I am here. Still lining up. Still preparing. Still leading you to the best I've ever prepared. For a long time, you thought I was silent. That perhaps he had stopped listening, caring, acting in your favor. The prayers seemed to go up and not come back. The promises seemed too far away. And in the midst of this silence, the heart began to doubt. Will it still happen? Am I still here? But today I tell you, I was never absent. My silence was not abandonment. It was training. While you thought nothing was happening, I was working on the roots. Every seed needs to be hidden before it blooms. And you were that seed. I hid you, not out of rejection, but out of protection. I separated you, not to isolate you, but to prepare you. Because what I was about to do in your life required depth. And deep roots are only built in silence. It was in this time of silence that your faith was matured. The faith that previously wavered in the face of circumstances now stands firm even without proof. The faith that once depended on signs now rests on promises. I took you to a place where you no longer depended on what you saw, but on what you knew. And you know. Know that I am. You know that I remain faithful. You know that, even without feeling, I remain. No one can take that certainty away from you. Because it was generated in secret. It was cut in tears. It was forged on nights when you chose to believe, even without the strength. What seemed like stagnation was actually growth. What seemed like delay was strategy. I wasn't taking long. I was making you stronger. Because there are promises that cannot be delivered before maturity. There are blessings that can only be enjoyed by those who have gone through the process. And you passed. Even in pain. Even scared. Even thinking about giving up. You followed. And that makes me happy. Because now I can trust you more. You are no longer the same person as before. You may not realize it yet, but something has changed in you. You respond differently. See it differently. Expect different. This is the fruit of mature faith. From the confidence built on difficult days. And this new version of you is ready to carry what you previously couldn't support. Blessings will not overwhelm you. Promises will not deceive you. Favor will not take you away from me. Because now you know, everything comes from me, everything passes through me, everything returns to me. I kept quiet to make you hear better. So that you could learn to discern my presence even in silence. So that he wouldn't confuse noise with direction. So that it would not be guided only by emotions. Now, you don't just walk with me, you recognize me. Even when the signs are not visible. Even when the path is still cloudy. And this level of spiritual maturity changes everything. Because those who walk by faith do not stop in the face of fear. And whoever knows my voice is not confused by the noise around them. Remember when you said you couldn't take it anymore? I saw. And I held you. I didn't let you fall. I didn't let your mind dominate you. I entered with peace where there was despair. I placed security where there was only uncertainty. And now you are here. Not because it was easy, but because I went with you. And this is just the beginning of what we will experience together. Each lesson from this silent time will become a foundation. Each tear will be used as fertilizer for the new thing that I am making sprout. You will not just see the manifestation of the promise. You will also see confirmation that it was worth trusting. Because every time you thought nothing was happening, I was bringing you closer to me. And now that your faith is mature, I can release what I have guarded so jealously. You have grown up. You understood. You are ready. And I'm still here. Still talking. Still driving. Still forming something eternal in you. Because the silence has ended, but communion remains. And what blooms after waiting, bears the mark of eternity. I know that for a long time you have been waiting for something that never seems to come. You have prayed, believed, and even suffered, but, in many moments, it seemed that the promises were just distant, as if time had erased what you once believed possible. I know you felt lost, discouraged, and maybe you've even thought that the doors were definitely closed to you. But I want you to know, with all my heart, that nothing was forgotten. I saw your every step, every tear, every attempt to stand firm. What you thought was lost, what you thought would never return, is now resurfacing. It is not a return to what was, but a resurrection. What seemed to have died, what you put aside because you no longer saw hope, will now come back to life. I am the God who transforms death into life, who brings to the surface what seemed buried forever. Every buried dream, every promise that was clouded by pain, is being brought back to light. And what's coming will be better than you ever imagined. Do you remember when everything seemed possible, before the pain, before the losses, before the feeling that the world was against you? I remember. I saw that moment when your heart believed that there was no limit to dreams. But, over time, the pain shaped his faith. You started to question yourself. You wondered if it was worth continuing, if the promises I made to you were still valid. I know, I saw you in that place. But still, you didn't give up. Without even realizing it, you continued walking, and every step you took was counted by me. I didn't leave you alone, not even for a moment. Every pain you experienced, every battle you faced, was part of the process of preparing for the big moment that is about to happen. The resurrection of your dreams begins today. What seemed impossible will be made possible. What seemed lost will be restored. And what you thought would never come back now rises with more strength, with more grace, with more purpose than before. The pain you carried will be turned into testimony. What you thought was the end will be the beginning of a new season, a season of victory, abundance, and fulfillment. You are entering a new time, a time where promises will be fulfilled, and your faith will be rewarded. I'm bringing back what you thought was lost forever. It will not be a simple recovery, it will be a supernatural restitution. What was taken from you, I will give you back in greater measure. Where there was once emptiness, there will now be abundance. Where there was once a lack, there will now be provision. And best of all, where there was doubt, now you will see the certainty of my hand acting. I am the God who never fails. And every word that I have released upon you will come true. I have not forgotten the promises. I haven't forgotten you. Everything you lived was not in vain. Everything you planted, even in tears, will now begin to bear fruit. What seemed out of reach is now within your reach. What seemed distant is now approaching. I am speeding up the process, and you will begin to see doors opening in supernatural ways. What once seemed impossible will be made possible, because I am the God who opens doors where there are no doors, who creates paths where there are no paths. Now I call you believe again. To believe in what I promised you. Believing in the dreams that are being resurrected, in what you thought you could no longer live. The new is already being generated, and you will see the first evidence of this soon. The first doors will open, the first promises will be fulfilled, and, as you walk, more and more things will align. Not only will what you lost be restored, but you will see new blessings being poured out, things that you never even imagined you would need, but that will now fill your life in an extraordinary way. Now comment, I believe, as a sign of faith and trust in God's promises. Let this simple act be testimony that you believe in what is being released into your life. Because what I am doing now is not just for you, it is for everyone around you. What is being restored in you will be a living testimony of my faithfulness. I am the God of resurrection. And the best is yet to come. I am here, and what you thought you lost, I am giving back to you in abundance. Did you know that there are places, dimensions, and blessings that you never imagined reaching? You have lived within certain limits, always doing what you already know, always dealing with what is within your power. But I tell you now, don't be satisfied with what you already have, because I am taking you to new levels. The Holy Spirit is opening doors that you thought were closed forever. And what seemed distant is now within your reach. What seemed impossible is now about to become a reality. What you are experiencing now is not all that I have for you. There is more. There is more of my purpose for your life, there is more of my grace, there is more of my provision, there is more of my guidance. And I am taking you to these places. Where there were once limits, there will now be expansion. Where there were blockages, there will now be clarity. Where there was a narrow path, now there is a wide, free road prepared for you. It will no longer be about what you can do alone, but about what I can do it through you. You've gotten used to limited vision, but I'm giving you new eyes to see beyond what your natural eyes can reach. I am removing the blinders from your vision, the ones that kept you from realizing the potential that is in front of you. I am showing you that there are no more limits for those who believe in me. What once seemed out of reach will now be a tangible reality. Because, where are you going? Your faith, it will be the measure of what you will achieve. I am expanding your spiritual horizons. Where you thought you already knew everything, I am revealing more. Where you thought you had already reached your maximum, I am taking you to a new level of understanding, of discernment, of revelation. And you will see, with your own eyes, that there is more. More to conquer, more to live, more to experience. And I am preparing you for this. But understand, it won't be easy. The new level will require a stronger, more mature, more constant faith. The new path will require unwavering trust, even when you don't understand what's happening. It will require courage to leave your safe place and launch yourself into the unknown. It will require of you the ability to trust me completely, without trying to control every detail. Because where I'm taking you, you won't be able to control it. It will be a path of faith, of total dependence, of obedience. And I will be with you at every step, strengthening your faith and guiding you in every decision. The new experience you are about to experience will not come easily. It will not come without challenges. But what you will achieve will be greater than anything you have ever experienced. Because what I am doing in you is an eternal work, a work that transcends time and that will bear fruit for generations. And you will see the fruits of this journey, because everything I teach you now will be a foundation for what is to come. I know you have been afraid. Fear of the unknown. Afraid to take that step of faith. Fear of not living up to what I'm calling you to live. But I tell you, don't be afraid, because I am the one who goes before you. I am the one who will open the doors. I am the one who will prepare the ground. And you will walk in confidence, because my hand will be upon you. You won't walk alone. I am with you every step of this journey. Enjoy this video now as a sign that you are ready to take that step of faith. Because what's coming is much bigger than you imagine. I am taking you to a new level of experience, a new dimension of my grace. And, when you look back, you will see that every difficulty, every challenge, every step in faith, was necessary to lead you to the best that I prepared for you. Do not be afraid of what is to come, because I am your God, and I will always be with you. The best is yet to come, and you are ready to live it. The cycle you have been living, with so many ups and downs, with so many struggles, is coming to an end. You've been through what seemed endless, you've faced challenges that seemed to have no end. But I tell you, with certainty, the cycle of difficulties is over. What you thought would never end is now turning into something new. The end of one season and the beginning of another, fuller, richer, more prepared. The new cycle that begins will be marked not by struggle, but by transformation and the harvest of what you sowed, often, with tears. During the time of difficulties, perhaps you wondered about the purpose of so much suffering, about the reason for so many struggles, so many losses. You looked to the future with doubt, wondering if the promises I made to you would actually be fulfilled. But now, look back. See that, even on the most difficult nights, when discouragement seemed to take over, I was always with you, guiding your steps, strengthening your spirit, renewing your strength. I know there were times when you thought about giving up. When doubt hovered over your heart and you no longer saw the light at the end of the tunnel. I saw your heart. I saw your silent prayers, the times you said, I can't take it anymore, but you continued. You were stronger than you imagined. I supported you every step of the way, even if you didn't know it. Because even when you didn't feel it, I was acting in the invisible. I was restoring what was broken, healing what was hurt, preparing you for the moment that has now arrived. This new cycle that begins is not just the end of a season of difficulties, but the beginning of a journey of new opportunities, new blessings, and new challenges. You will no longer be the same person. Every step you took, every struggle you faced, every moment of waiting, all of it prepared you for now. You are stronger, wiser, more sensitive to my voice. The process made you a more mature version of who you were before. And, with this maturity, you are ready to live the promises that I prepared for you. What comes from now on will be guided by clarity, for the discernment and by spiritual sensitivity that you developed during the quiet time. Before, doubt and confusion dominated your steps. You made decisions based on emotions, anxiety, and haste. Now, you will be guided by the peace that passes all understanding. You will start to notice the difference. What was once confusing will now become clear. What once seemed lost will now be restored. You will no longer be the one who acts on impulse. You will be the one who waits for the leading of the Spirit. When a door opens, you'll know it's the right door. When an opportunity arises, you'll know if it's for you or if you need to wait. Your discernment will be sharper, your faith more solid. Why you were trained in waiting, was formed in silence, was strengthened in difficulties. And now, all of this will be used to guide you to the best that God has prepared. And don't forget, I prepared you to live in the new. It's not about repeating what was done in the past. It's not about going back to the old ways. The new is always grander, more aligned with the eternal purpose that I have for you. The faith you now carry is no longer a faith of dependence on circumstances, but a faith based on who I am and what I have promised to do. And I do not fail in my promises. Now that you're ready to step into the new, remember that you're not the one who has to open the doors. It is my Spirit who will lead you, who will take you to new places, who will show you opportunities that you did not imagine. I am ahead of you, preparing the way. Don't worry about what's coming, because I am the God who goes before you, preparing everything according to my perfect will for your life. So, when you feel insecure, when doubts try to return, remember everything you've been through. Remember that you overcame everything. You have been tested and approved, and now you are ready to live what has been released to you. The cycle of struggle is over. The cycle of blessings, of answers, of miracles, of spiritual growth began. And you will live it with more grace, more confidence, and more purpose. I have supported you until now and led you to this new time. The best is yet to come. And you are ready to live it now. You are no longer the same. You have entered a new phase of your journey, and I am with you in every step of this new journey. The cycle begins again, but now with a new sensitivity. A heightened spiritual sensitivity. A clearer perception of what God is doing in your life. The best has already begun. And the rest will be even more extraordinary than you imagine. Breathe deeply. Quiet your mind. Calm down. Not out of habit, but as though you're looking for the Father's touch, extend your hand. A window between heaven and earth opened at this very instant. You were also summoned. I'm present. You are seen by me, the Lord. Nothing that has happened to you thus far is a coincidence. There was no waste of tears. Not a single prayer was overlooked. This moment was distinct even before you were born. Even if everything around you appeared normal, I had previously planned for your spirit and my voice to meet. This video did not just happen to catch your attention. You were led here by my hand. You were woken to listen by my spirit. I personally readied you for this moment. And I can assure you that I never left, regardless of how lost, lonely, exhausted, or even forgotten you may have felt. I've been here all along. Always. In the quiet of evenings when you were no longer understood. On the days when you smiled while your spirit pleaded for assistance. I was with you for all of these hours, helping you without you ever knowing it. Now I want your heart to be listening. The heavens are in motion. At the same time you made the decision to stay, something unearthly started to occur. Don't disregard your feelings. This unexpected calm. The warmth that permeates your body. The unfounded desire to cry. It's me. Within you, my spirit is attesting to my existence, faithfulness, and reality. The heavens opened above your life now, right now. Additionally, I am releasing something that will fundamentally alter your narrative. I'm ending cycles. Sending answers and breaking records. I witnessed the evenings when you prayed in private, unsure of whether anybody was hearing. I witnessed the times when you considered quitting up since it appeared like nothing was moving forward. However, I still remember every single thing you said. Even when everyone else gone, I stayed. I remained. You can hear me now because of this. Since I stayed. And something fresh started because I stayed. A new era has been called upon you. The time of year has shifted. My hands are now realigning what formerly appeared to be closed, with no way out and no direction. Also, it won't be the same as previously. Because this time, it won't be your arm's strength that makes the difference. It is my promise's strength. There will be more than simply an improvement. You will notice a change. You will experience more than just comfort. You'll have a tangible, obvious, and real response. Because my word doesn't come back empty. And now I'm speaking to you. Pay attention. The suffering you endured to get here is dwarfed by the majesty I have planned for this moment. The injuries weren't unjustified. They served as avenues for you to receive my comfort. Weights weren't a form of punishment. I planted deeply in their lush soil. And the skies opened today. And what started out as only a seed of faith is now starting to grow. Many people have yearned to be where you are, in a spiritual state. A site of revelation. Where I may speak directly to people's hearts. And everything lines up when I speak. Chaos finds purpose when I talk. Even the seemingly dead breathe anew when I speak. I'm also speaking. Right now. Similar to you. Now. Tomorrow is not the time. It's not a typical day. Today is the day. And now. Because I noticed that you choose to stay even if you didn't understand. Even if everything seemed to be pushing you back, I saw that you clung to it. I also didn't let go of your hand since you didn't let go of mine. You were called to this time. And I gave you a call to see what many others didn't think was feasible. To demonstrate my commitment, I called you. Before you were even born, I pronounced a miracle over you, and I summoned you to live it. Now leave a faith-filled comment. I received this word. Declare in your own words that you hear my voice and that it moved you, that you believe, and that you decide to stay. Because it's not over yet. It is the start of what I have been preparing all along. And the reason you've heard this far is that a new chapter has already started. Breathe deeply. I'm present. Do you recall the times you prayed with tears in your eyes and only a sigh instead of any more words? I observed. Every utterance you made was a scream of trust that reached my throne. Even when time appeared to stand still and you questioned if I could still hear you, I was still paying attention. Like a priceless seed, I was counting every tear. I was recording every waiting minute as a component of an endless scheme. Nothing was overlooked. Your suffering wasn't in vain. I watched you persevere despite your lack of strength. I witnessed you enjoying it despite the burden of unresolved questions. When no one else was around, I noticed you. And I was moved by that. Your unwavering optimism, your unspoken loyalty, and your seemingly brittle faith that never wavered. Like a fragrant fragrance, all of this rose. And the sky shifted as a result. I defended you. The promise that appeared far away is suddenly near. What you thought was impossible has already been freed from mine. The answer you believed would never arrive is starting now. The unseen is becoming apparent because of me. I'm pulling back the curtain that prevented what I said about you from coming to pass. It won't be symbolic. It will be authentic. It will be apparent. You will feel it. And you'll realize that it could only have come from me, since it will be so much bigger than you could have ever dreamed. Because I am the God who praises those who stay even when they cannot see, who surpasses, and who surprises. There is a divine miracle on the horizon. And it won't arrive in a predictable way. It won't turn out as you anticipated or calculated. Because it will be the outcome of a promise rather than reasoning. No one can close the door I'm opening. In order to accomplish my goal, I am rearranging people, circumstances, and even buildings. Where there was formerly shortage, there will be provision. Where there was humiliation, there will be glory. I am God, your supplier, and I can accomplish anything. What your knees supported will be visible to your eyes. You will suffer the consequences of your actions. Many believed that you were squandering time, that your prayers were meaningless, and that your faith was in vain. However, I was paying attention. And I am the God who answers when it's appropriate. And this is the ideal moment. I'm not running late. I'm not wrong. I am the covenantal God. I fulfill what I promised. I've released enough. I complete what I begin. The benefits you get go beyond what you requested. They go above and above. Because I was preparing enough while you asked enough. I was getting ready for growth while you were requesting escape. I prepared a turnaround as you requested relief. You will be remembered for the glory you will bear, not for the suffering you endured. For reparations, not for losses. For the plenty that will provide witness to my faithfulness to you, not for shortage. Don't let the method scare you. Never be afraid of the unknown. Don't attempt to comprehend what has been unleashed in the spirit with your mind. Some links will appear unexpectedly. I utilized people you wouldn't have thought of to bless you. Inexplicably, things will start to fall into place, places you never imagined going to, doors you never imagined opening. Additionally, you will notice progress more quickly the more you trust. Because I am speeding up the promise's fulfillment at this moment of acceleration. Be mindful that the feelings you are experiencing at this moment are real. The moment has arrived, according to my spirit inside you, as evidenced by the sudden tear, the warmth in your chest, the profound silence, and the assurance that suddenly fills your heart for no apparent reason. The moment to witness with your own eyes what you believed. Now is the moment to reap the benefits of your tears. Where there used to be just stillness, now is the moment to grin. Tell someone who is hoping for a miracle about this message. Because I can use your faithfulness to reach another life, just as I marked your moment. When you divide some blessings, they increase. And for many others, what I am doing in you may be the start of a series of miracles. You were created with a purpose. Furthermore, this is only the start. Proceed. I'm present. The miracle has already started, even if you can't see it now. Only the Spirit has the ability to detect some things. And now, right now, the sky is moving as you hear me. Doors are opening. People's hearts are being moved. I am preparing people you have never seen to participate in your answer. My actions are supernatural. And the unseen is where it all begins. An order has already been placed for the release. And nothing can stop my will from being carried out in your life. You can believe it without seeing it. To see, all you have to do is believe. Because the proof follows the promise when I take action. I talk first, then I do what I am told. I plant first, and then I grow it. And I'm doing just that right now, sowing a vibrant, strong, and impenetrable seed in your soul. A seed of miracles. A seed of new beginning. A seed that, despite the soil being dry now, will bloom when the time is right. Remain steadfast. Keep your focus on what I am revealing and don't let the noise around you distract you. Because a lot of people will claim that nothing is taking place. The shift will go unnoticed by many. But you'll sense it. The little clues will be obvious to you. You'll see the specifics. Because you will be sensitive enough to discern every divine activity thanks to my spirit. I'm making all the changes for you. It could appear like nothing has changed around you. However, something has already altered within you. And everything outside is changed by what happens within. Pay close attention, I'm touching strangers. I'm reawakening hearts far away. Wills is what I'm leaning toward. Establishing surprising relationships. Facilitating routes. Creating opportunities that are in my plan but were not in yours. Furthermore, no page that comes before it may restrict what I write in a new chapter. Nothing can override what I have created, not even failure, loss, or the past. I own you. And I look after it since it's mine. I defend. I foresee evil and thwart assaults before they can get to your heart. I defend you when you're asleep. Even if you are unaware of the danger, I send angels. Where there was battle, I brought peace. And when you welcome me, I become a resident, not just a guest. I stay. I uphold. I lead. For whomever is mine is never defenseless. Don't leave this moment behind. Avoid being sidetracked. Keep what I'm pouring over you from being stolen by the surge. Despite being modest, my presence is strong. I speak softly yet firmly. Furthermore, each word I offer you now is crucial. An invisible door-opening key. A key that opens parts of your soul that have been blocked by suffering, fear, or unpleasant memories. Right now, I'm turning that key. You sense it. The weight is dropping. The pain is melting away. The heart is being rejuvenated. Your story will be defined by what begins today. It is going to be a divider. It will not be the same as previously. You won't be the same after this moment. Your appearance, your words, and your attitudes will all change. Because change occurs where revelation occurs. And I'm making my love, fidelity, concern, and promise known. Your spirit is being swept away by all of this like a river. Life is a river. Repair. Of a living hope. This message isn't simply another one. It's a vocation. A seal. A call to spirituality. Additionally, those that answer this call never go back to the same location. They're moving you around. The trapped object begins to move. What was unclear starts to make sense. The things you thought were gone start to come back to you. Since I am the God who alters the seasons and the periods. And I'm telling you that a new era has come. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if its message resonated with you. By doing this, you may affirm that you have received this word and that you are still in tune with what heaven is delivering. I pray that every click serves as a spiritual reminder that you have made the decision to trust, stick with, and follow my voice. Because no one can halt what I started. And I'll grow what I've planted. I'm present. I'm still speaking. I continue to act. Keep going. Don't give up. Proceed. The greatest is yet to come. Do you sense it? That sudden heat, that tenseness in your chest, that sense that something is shifting inside you. It's not arbitrary. Right now, my spirit is at work in you. There are people breaking shackles. Weights are being raised. In the stillness of this moment, strongholds are being destroyed. You're not merely hearing a message. You're going through a breakup. A spiritual barrier. An intervention from heaven that started deep within you. You held pains for a long time that you were unable to describe. Weights that weren't yours were carried by you. Inner voices that perpetuate falsehoods about your identity have subjugated you. I witnessed the moment you thought nothing would change. I witnessed the silent agony that accompanied you even on good days, when you felt that you would have to live forever with a certain emptiness. Today, however, I assert that it has already started. The moment you let your heart be open to hearing was the beginning of your freedom. What used to rule you is no longer strong. It is reversing what immobilized you before. My presence is destroying what formerly tormented you. Emotion isn't the point. This isn't a recommendation. It is a genuine, profound, and ongoing movement. The light is invading you. A light that drives out the darkness, unveils the hidden, and mends old wounds. And because the greatest miracles don't create a show, they become silent, thus all of this is taking place without any fanfare or commotion. And I'm doing that to you right now. Changing into the secret. Not hurrying to restore. Internal healing. Experiences, profanity, past traumas, and anxieties that have become ingrained in the psyche have all contributed to the creation of certain prisons. However, these jails are opening today. By the power of my name, not by your strength. You didn't even realize you were carrying chains, but I'm breaking them. Structures that you have previously naturalized are being dismantled by me. I have called you to live in freedom, and I am making that clear to your spirit. And there is freedom where my spirit resides. I'm here, too. I am now in the area you have designated for me. I'm in operation. Taking action. Pouring deliverance. You'll get it. You'll discover that outdated ideas have become uncontrollable even now. Your previous dominant feelings will no longer have as much weight. Situations will be viewed differently by you. You'll respond less forcefully. Your sleep will be more restful. Since I'm putting you in line with heaven. In order for you to support what I am preparing on the outside, I am repairing your inner. And this split is when it all begins. With this already occurring invisible break. He had too much on his shoulders. His soul, restless. You will breathe differently now, though. Your gait will become more steady. It will seem as though something has been torn away, taken out, or disintegrated. Because when I go to a true heart, I do just that. I remove the weight. I accept the suffering. I break soul bonds. I go where no one else can go. No one else has been able to play where I do. And no one else can reverse what I'm doing to you. I am aware that you weren't always aware of the battle you were engaged in. On certain days, it seemed like you were at war on the inside, even if everything appeared normal on the outside. Thoughts that drained you, guilt that prevented you from sleeping, and accusations that persisted even when you made an effort to act morally. Today, however, I demonstrate that it was a spiritual struggle rather than a sign of weakness. And by remaining, you prevailed. You prevailed by persevering. When you decided to hear this word and to put everything on hold in order to hear from me, you won. The battle for your soul starts to lose ground. Since I joined the conflict, I defended you. Between you and the adversary, I stand. And evil flees when my presence is present. The untruth is hushed where I speak. The impossible bends where I go. So have faith. Continue to listen. Keep in touch. Because what began here will not end. I'll accompany you all the way. What used to be a painful cycle is now a gateway to change. And it all began when you made the decision to pay attention to me. This is only the start. I'm present. Acting still. Still conversing. Still making progress. Since you belong to me. You carry certain brands, but you have no idea where they're from. Recurring, nonsensical ideas and intense emotions that defy rational understanding. You feel as though something is holding you back while you attempt to advance. It appears as though a voice inside of you tells you that prayer is pointless. Do you know why, too? Because you are not the cause of what you are facing. Spiritual legacies from previous generations are responsible for many of the struggles you face today. Recurring trends. Cycles of pain. Invisible threads that, without your knowledge, became a part of your tale and became stronger over time. Today, however, I announce that this cycle is over. The spiritual recurrences that have imprisoned your ancestors for years are being broken by me, the Lord. Psychological injuries that were sustained. Insults directed at your house, parents, and grandparents. Unbroken curses. Wounds that have not healed. I'm going to go to the core of your limitations. To identify the cause as well as treat the symptoms. And it all begins right now. I start cutting through what appeared indestructible as soon as you hear me and your heart opens. Although you can be the end of something that shouldn't go on, you are not accountable for everything you inherited. I decided to stop the pattern with you. In the spiritual realm, he is the one who declares, enough. The one who twists the lineage's key. And by my authority, not by human might. I made you speak a new language. I give your heart a new identity. You will no longer accept what other people consider normal. Previously commonplace will suddenly be the exception. Your life was meant to be broken, not repeated. Your tale is being rewritten by me. Healing wounds that you carry as though they were your own is part of it. Your spiritual memory is being restored by me. Removing the distortion. Reversing the inner voices that attempted to propagate falsehoods. They claimed you were unfit, that you would never succeed, that you were a failure, that no one would pick you, and that you would always be turned down. We are now silencing their voices. Because my voice will be the only one left. You are my adored son, I tell you. You have been selected. You're apart. You're at liberty. Other individuals will experience this inward release. Parents, siblings, kids, and relatives. I am a multi-generational God. Additionally, I come to alter the whole flow when I visit someone, not just for one visit. Cycles will be reversed because of you. What previously seemed unattainable will now be accessible to others because of you. Where there used to be just tension in households, there will now be healing because of you. Since you said yes, since you decided to pay attention to me. Because you were tired of being stuck in what was holding you back. And no, the split won't be cosmetic. It won't be a short-term situation. I'm referring about a significant, spiritual, and structural shift. Something that will grow over the following several days after being born today. Something that starts off quietly but has proof that no one can dispute. They won't recognize you when they look at you. They will inquire as to what transpired. You'll realize that it was bliss. God was the one. It was freedom. The recurrence of your traumas does not define you. In me, you are the continuation of your ancestry. I gave you the ability to succeed. I gave you a fresh start. You were anointed to repair by me. And what used to be a legacy of suffering will now be a heritage of authority, faith, and serenity. The split has left its imprint on you. The liberating anointing. The seal of a person I visited who did not reciprocate the favor. Comment immediately with 7,777 as a prophetic act if you were able to hear this word. This is your natural reaction to what I have just done in the supernatural. Write this number and declare in the spirit, the cycle is over, I have been freed. Faithfully observe what has just begun. Because everything has already been recorded in heaven. Hell has already backed down. You are now permanently free. And that's only the start. I'm present. Staying inside of you. Breaking all that is required for you to live freely as I intended for you to. They're preparing something as you listen to me now. The movement has already started, even if you can't see it yet. Your sight cannot see the dimensions in which the Spirit is operating. Behind the scenes, something wonderful is taking place in your life. Angels are being dispatched with instructions. There is no sound while doors are opened. Being at the right place at the right moment touches people's hearts. Nothing is still. The plan I outlined for you before you were ever born is coming to pass. Even in the absence of evidence, every moment you continue to believe was a step closer to success. I witnessed your resistance to fatigue. I witnessed your decision to wait despite not knowing why. I am now connecting you with realization as a result. Your life is being repositioned by me. What appeared to be stationary will start to move. Things that were unclear will begin to make sense. Because before I present the apparent, I am structuring the unseen. Don't assume I'm putting things off. I'm keeping you safe. Because I don't make promises that I can't keep. I start with cleaning. I start by restoring. I get ready first. And that's what I've been doing so far, getting you ready to support my declarations. The promise will not be fulfilled in a single instance. It will mark the start of a new cycle with a strong base, a more robust framework, and improved discernment. Because I sustain what I release. You don't have to be afraid of procedures you don't fully comprehend. You may have been frustrated by things, doors that closed, choices that felt incorrect, or even painful separations. But there was a reason for everything. And every one of them had me behind it. I let you out by closing doors. To keep you safe, I took people away. Let waiting help you grow up. And now that the time is over, everything starts to fit together. The seemingly unconnected parts will come together. This will bring clarity to the previously hazy routes. The end is not you. You are currently experiencing satisfaction. Time has changed, even if everything appears to be the same. The heavens parted. The season has also modified. It's time to accelerate now. A period when seeds sprout rapidly and when fruits mature earlier than expected. For when the heart is prepared, I, the God, expedite time. Your heart is also prepared. It was my responsibility to prepare it myself. I molded you. I made you stronger. I cleansed you. And the moment has arrived. Around you, things are opening up as you stay in this word. Spiritual bonds are being severed. Invisible resistances are being eliminated. They're tearing obstacles out of your path. And all of this is based on my authority rather than your effort. The one who comes before you is me, the Lord. Where there used to be just dry ground, I am the one who takes down the walls, clears the way, and constructs the road. And this path will take you directly to the promise's fulfillment. You're receiving more than simply consolation. It's getting outfitted. Because what is ahead will call for spiritual awareness, bravery, and maturity. And I'm going to tell you about it immediately. A fresh anointing. A fresh vision. A stronger faith. A strong conviction that I am in charge even if I don't fully grasp everything. And that is plenty for you to proceed with inner serenity and optimism. Tell someone who is likewise waiting for God to move by sharing this message. Maybe just this confirmation, that the Spirit is still at work, even in silence, is what this individual needs. Be the conduit that helps her realize this. Because the same God who is working in your life also desires to use you to reach other people. And all that began at this moment is only the start. I'm present. With you, I'm moving on. Acting powerfully in the unseen so that everything becomes apparent when it's time. And wonderful. What people say about you is not who you are. They didn't do it to you. It isn't what the past attempted to etch into your memory. What I say you are, you are. And I announce in my own words today that you are mine. You are cherished. You have been selected. You are worth something. The information I am currently sharing about your life has more authority than everything you have encountered thus far. Your identity is being rebuilt by me. The one that was shattered by comparisons, harsh words, stares, rejections, and silences. I'm bringing back the worth that time attempted to remove. You are not an error. You are not inadequate. You're not invisible. I noticed you even when you felt voiceless, alone, and forgotten. I was already developing a scenario where you would be emphasized by grace when you thought you would constantly fall behind when you compared yourself to others. I had already given you an eternal purpose while they believed you would end in nothing. Since I have a different perspective. I see heart where the world sees appearance. And I was drawn to your heart. His injuries did not stop him from searching. He didn't give up despite his fatigue. And for that reason, I've manifested authority over you. What I stated was not negated by the falls you experienced. The guarantee was not nullified by your errors. Honor will take the place of the disgrace you have endured for so long. I don't bring up flawless children. Those who acknowledge their need for me are lifted up. Those who believe they are ready are not used by me. I make advantage of those who are open to being molded. And the secret, the hidden, and the silent have all molded you. Time to get out of the cave now. It's time to come out of me knowing who you are. I see more than just your location. Where am I sending you? Furthermore, the location I'm transporting you to is inconsistent with the false beliefs you held about yourself. I'm eliminating these voices because of this. The one who claimed you were insufficient. The one who kept saying that you will be abandoned by everyone. That person who told you that you would never be successful, that you would always need someone, that you would never be healed, and that you would never be whole. Now, these voices are all being muffled. Because it's my voice that wins out. You are free, my voice whispers. You have authority. I have planned an exceptional event for you, and you deserve to live it. You are no longer defined by what once characterized you. Childhood was marred with anguish. The scarring of desertion. The painful connection. The words faded. Your value cannot be determined by any of this. I reform you. I give you another call. I give you another boost. And not with the remnants, but with the novel. We will remember you for what you have, not for what you have lost. Glory, presence, authority, and the live witness of someone who was touched by heaven and never returned to normal will be what you take away from today. What appeared to be failure will serve as a demonstration of my strength. My mending will take place amid your suffering. Many people will wonder what happened to you because of how amazing your new beginning is. And you'll realize it was God's hand. It was love from the Father. Heaven came to me and changed the course of my life. Furthermore, this seal cannot be removed. Because my heritage is touched by anybody who touches what I have marked. Additionally, you are heritage. You are a unique gem. You are a living example of how I repair what the world has destroyed. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if this word resonated with you and you know it was God speaking to you. In doing so, you place yourself in the natural to validate what is already sealed in the spiritual. This action is more than simply a gesture, it is a declaration. I receive this new identity, I accept living what God has prepared for me because I sparked a fresh development in you. And nobody can stop what I start. You have changed as a person. As I stated, you are what you are. And much more is yet to come. I'm present. I also stay by my side. I'll show you how to walk securely now that you've started to see who you truly are in me. No longer by impulse or instinct, but by discernment. Your spiritual ears are being tuned by me. You'll start to notice things you didn't notice before. What used to look like random events will now be recognized as guidance. Peace will now be the result of what formerly caused mistrust. Because I confirm where I direct. I get ready where I send. And you will be led by revelation rather than response from now on. Emotions will no longer hold you captive. You will no longer base your choices on worry, lack, or fear. Because I'm training you to recognize the appropriate moment and style. Some doors were locked out of pity even if they appeared to be the appropriate ones. Some routes were promising, but they didn't take you where you were going. And you were saved even if you didn't comprehend. You will now start to notice the indicators that you previously disregarded since your spirit is more sensitive. You'll start to discern between what comes from me and what is meant to be confusing. And your greatest weapon will be this clarity. Doors won't need to be forced anymore. You will no longer have to run to establish your value or look for acknowledgement in unmemorable locations. The door will open softly when it is mine. Peace shall prevail. Grace will be present. Fluidity will be present. And you'll know when there's confusion, not now, not this way. If you choose the wrong route, I will be the one to put a stop to it. And when it's time to take action, I'll be the quiet impulse. I raise my kids in this manner, with love, peace, and accuracy. Silence won't always equate to absence. There won't be denials for every delay. I care about quiet sometimes. I get the scenario ready at this point. This is the moment when I tune your ears so that you don't pause or wonder when the appropriate door opens. Just go in. And you'll go in. Since I'm getting you ready for this. To stop living in uncertainty. In order to avoid swaying with every wind. So as not to be drowned out by the multitude of voices. Because the primary voice will be mine. And even in the middle of confusion, you will be able to identify it. You'll start to see me in the little things. In words, in interactions, in feelings, in subliminal affirmations. I'll be involved in everything. Since I have always been. Your eyes have been opened, though. Your spirit has now been roused. And everything will be different. Your attitude about waiting will also change. Because you'll know that your waiting isn't random. They're training him. They're positioning it. To ensure I don't lose everything I've prepared, it is being adjusted. I only provide certain instructions to people who choose to pay attention. I only tell the people who are left certain secrets. And you stayed. Even when you were unable to comprehend. Even when he was about to give up. Even when he believed he was by himself. You remained. So now I'm talking. And what I say is still true. I'm developing a new degree of sensitivity toward you. In order to move sensibly, not to grow reliant on signals. So that before you move in the natural, you can be certain in the spirit. When it's required, you'll learn to wait. And when the time comes, you'll know how to behave fearlessly. Because you will be confirmed by tranquility. And the cue to wait will be skepticism. I'm teaching you to put your faith in me above your feelings. Walking more out of trust than out of need. To rely on revelation rather than reason. Because of the miraculous nature of your tale with me. And discernment is needed for what I have in store for you. Not everyone will find it appealing. It will be for you, though. And you'll be prepared. Since I personally prepare you. The period of perplexity is ending. The days of wandering aimlessly are coming to an end. You'll be able to understand. It will be guided. Balance shall be maintained. Because your road will be illuminated by my light. And you'll be aware of it even if the situation doesn't appear optimal. Because you will have learned to detect my presence, and where I am, there is your route. Have faith. Don't lose your sensitivity. Since I'm speaking, you will never get lost again if you learn to listen to me. I'm present. Directing you. Instructing you. Bringing you into line with the sky. And from now on, everything will be different. You've been making a lot of effort. Attempting to do everything correctly, to please, and to get everything perfect. Even yet, you frequently feel inadequate. Like there was always something lacking. As though everything didn't go as planned, even with all the effort. However, I wish to release you from this silent responsibility today. Because everything I am about to do in your life will be based on my grace rather than your effort. I have not granted you a performance award for this courtesy. It is the outcome of a partnership. I don't pick the most powerful person. I pick those who rely on me. I don't pay attention to who appears more prepared, who speaks better, or who runs faster. I gaze at the self-giving heart. For the spirit that gives itself up. For those who understand that they are powerless without me. And you reach this location. The location of surrender. The point at when your efforts cease and my hand starts to move. The spot where my simple yoke takes the place of the heavy weight. I am aware of how many times you have attempted to do it alone. How many times have you thought that things would eventually happen if you worked more, were more flawless, or had more strength? However, human strength cannot accomplish what I have prepared for you. It is accepted by faith. Trust keeps it going. Obedience is how it is perceived. And I may act freely now that you realize this and have relinquished power. Because rest will now be the source of what once relied on your fatigue. You're learning to live in a new rhythm from me. A graceful beat. A compass of goodwill. Where I'm the reason doors open. Where relationships emerge because I made them. I am the source, therefore that's where resources come from. Additionally, you won't have to deal with anxiousness in this new era. You will never again be afraid. You won't act in a desperate manner anymore. Peace will guide you. And lightness will be a defining characteristic of every breakthrough. Because rest exists where my favor is present. And there is harvest where there is rest. You must understand that your shortcomings do not lead me to modify my opinion of you. My loyalty is constant regardless of how well you do. I will provide what I promised. My emancipation will come to pass. It's because I'm excellent, not because you deserve it. I chose to love you, not because you did everything perfectly. Furthermore, my love is not reliant on outcomes. He never changes. He's firm. He never dies. And my promises are based on this love. Nobody will be able to claim that what you did was your labor because it will be so obvious, so amazing, and so transformational. It was God, and everyone will know it. It was the Lord's favor. It was heavenly grace. And you will feel this as someone who was taken aback by love rather than as someone who earned it. My children are known for receiving what they were unable to do. They make do with what they can't afford. They bear things they never would have thought to support. Stop overcharging yourself, then. Give up evaluating yourself by what you haven't accomplished or done yet. Your progress does not define you. Your productivity does not define you. I own you. And I can keep you alive with only that. Give yourself permission to rest in me. Give yourself permission to think that I handle everything. That I perceive things that you do not. That I am aware of the information you overlooked. Additionally, you have no idea how many resources I have. I've got everything under control. I am still God. As an act of faith, watch this video immediately if this word resonated with you. A straightforward yet impactful action that says, I choose to rest in God's favor. Let every click serve as a reminder that you recognize that trust, not deserving, is what matters. And I take action when you trust me. I construct while you're sleeping. I deliver when you deliver. As I am the owner of the work. It's my pledge. Victory will also follow. I'm present. And I've continued to look after you. The time of year has shifted. The seemingly unending period of time, the silent and protracted passage when nothing blossomed, the winter of your spirit, has ended. Even though you were unaware that I was directing you, I guided you here, step by step. Every tear was visible to me in the darkness. When no one else was there, I could hear every prayer being said. And even if you're exhausted from waiting, I repeat that harvest time has come. Tears were shed when you planted. You will now reap joyfully. Even when everything urged you to give up, you continued. Even when the situation appeared to be different, you stayed. And I pay respect to those who are left. Even in the valley, I recompense those who seek me out. Those who see nothing occurring yet acknowledge me are exalted by me. Because faith is more than simply holding on to your hopes, it's persevering when everything seems to be screaming for it to end. And you went on. Consequently, I now triumph over your existence. The era of scarcity is giving way to the era of plenty. What caused the suffering will now be used as evidence. Song will now replace the stillness. Now, what was once a concealed seed will bear fruit. You will be known for your faith-filled perseverance rather than your suffering. Because of what you will carry moving forward, not because of the losses. There will be double praise where there was humiliation. And now, your covert life will be rewarded in front of many. The God of reparations is me. I put back what was taken. What was stolen is multiplied by me. I bring back something which appeared unrecoverable. I recreate it instead of simply returning it. In addition to healing, I also perfect. And everyone around you will realize how amazing what I'm doing to you is. You won't have to give an explanation. The fruit will do the talking. People will notice the change. It will be possible to see the gleam in the eyes. Because you shall bear living marks from my presence. I will be there for you in times of plenty, just as I was with you in times of tragedy. However, be aware that the future won't be burdensome. Because I don't inflict more suffering when I bless. You won't have to be concerned about keeping up what I do. No one will need you to prove anything. I just ask that you stay in me. Continue to hear me. Continue looking for me. Because heaven will show up more in your life the more you connect yourself with it. Don't be afraid of what is ahead. You should not doubt its veracity. Simply have faith. Because you are now being guided to the fruitful field by the same hand that kept you alive in the desert. You weren't alone when you started this new season. I'll depart before you do. I open the doors. I set up the meetings. I make the resources available. And anything that appeared to be trapped will start to flow organically. For now is the moment of grace. A period of time when you encounter things that you could not have done on your own. And do you recall that nearly forgotten promise? Of that seemingly lost dream? I still remember. I put it in writing. I kept it intact. And now, during this harvest season, I bring to light what you had previously buried deep inside yourself. Because even when you mistrust me, I remain committed. And I didn't give up, even if I did at one point. What's mine is still mine. I complete what I begin. And the positive changes I initiated in you are now starting to show in front of your eyes. Give this word to someone who is emerging from a challenging time as well. Since I designated your life for this new era, others must also be aware that their winter is coming to an end. Be a tool in my hands to disseminate optimism. Because a single seed of faith sown in the hearts of those who listen is often the first step toward many harvests. And through you and in you, you will bear testimony to what I do. I'm present. The time of year has shifted. And you're prepared to grow. I was perfectly realigning your story while you felt like everything was at a standstill. I was always present in the scenes of your life, never missing a moment. I was working even when you felt isolated and when everything appeared to be at a standstill. Quietly, but accurately. Eliminating what would prevent you from moving forward. Bringing back what was actually intended. Removing the things that prevented you from growing. And using the unseen threads of my sovereignty to weave new paths. Some farewells are painful. You were perplexed by several closed cycles. You didn't know why certain individuals departed your life. However, I got it. And I closed doors because I loved them. I kept folks at bay out of concern. I was so zealous that I refused to let certain relationships remain. Because the old one is not in what I have planned for you. Lightness, maturity, and alignment are necessary for what is ahead. Additionally, there were links that would postpone this goal. So I clipped, eliminated, and emptied in solitude. In order for you to not miss what was about to happen. It stung, I know. I noticed the questions you left unaddressed. I observed you attempting to figure out where you went wrong. However, that wasn't an error. It was advancement. It was a period of change. I was the one setting you up. Because few people are prepared to part with what is no longer useful, while many desire something new. And you took it even if you didn't understand. You had faith. You did the same. The results of the tough decisions you made out of faith are now being reaped. You may now see the importance of the no's, the silences, and the losses that were actually deliverances. Additionally, there were reconnections. Individuals who re-entered your life at the appropriate moment. The bonds have been reinstated. Repaired ties. Because no one can take what is yours. Furthermore, time does not remove what is God's. I give back what is rightfully mine. I respect the genuine covenant. And everything that is founded on me endures, develops, and thrives. You start to see today that even the reunions weren't arbitrary because of this. They were pre-programmed. They were composed. There was a queue of them. I'm making it all fit. Previously illogical situations now make sense. Decisions that initially appeared to be errors are now paying off. The seeds of paths that appeared to have ended are now exposed. Because your steps were never wasted by me. I even looked at the routes you believed you were on your own. Even when you veered off track, I made advantage of the opportunity to educate, get you ready, and help you come back wiser. The new is being positioned for you to live. Additionally, this new one needs room. It requires lucidity. It requires you to let go of outdated voices and burdens. I emptied you for that reason. I let certain things be taken away because of this. It was done to align you, not to punish you. You can hear better now that there is less noise. You walk lighter when you have less luggage. You can see more clearly when there are less distractions. All of this was a step in the process. Now, at last, you start to comprehend. It will need wisdom rather than effort to unlock the following doors that will present themselves to you. And you will be able to enter them fearlessly. Because you're ready now. All set to go. All set to welcome the new. All set to pay tribute to what was once disregarded. Are you prepared to handle what I entrusted to your care? Since the immature period is over. The moment to yield fruit is now. It's time to develop sensibly. It is time to thrive in a stable environment. Subscribe to this channel right away if you think this word describes what you have been going through. Because discoveries like these will keep feeding what started in secret. By doing this small thing, you stay in touch with what heaven is bringing into your life. Additionally, growth occurs when continuity exists. Multiplication occurs where there is permanency. I'm not merely paying you a visit. I'm starting a new stage. And the world around you starts to adapt to this new era. I'm present. They're still in line. I'm still getting ready. Continuing to guide you to the greatest I've ever made. You believed that I was silent for a long period. That he could have ceased caring, listening, or behaving in your favor. The prayers appeared to rise and then fall. The promises appeared too distant. And the heart started to question itself in the middle of this quiet. Will it still take place? Do I remain here? However, I can assure you now that I was never absent. I wasn't abandoned by my quiet. It was a training session. I was working on the roots while you believed nothing was going on. Before any seed may sprout, it must be concealed. And that seed was you. I kept you hidden for your safety, not because I was rejected. I kept you apart to get you ready, not to isolate you. Because I needed depth for what I was about to do in your life. And stillness is the only way to establish strong roots. Your faith developed throughout this period of stillness. Even in the absence of evidence, the trust that once faltered in the face of adversity now remains unwavering. Promises are now the foundation of the faith that before relied on signs. I led you to a point where you relied on what you knew rather than what you could see. You know, too. Recognize that I am. You are aware of my faithfulness. You are aware that I still exist despite my lack of emotion. That conviction cannot be taken away from you by anyone. Since it was created covertly. Tears were shed on it. Even if you lacked the strength, it was built on nights when you choose to believe. What appeared to be stagnation turned out to be progress. Strategy was what appeared to be a delay. I was moving quickly. I was strengthening you. Because some promises cannot be fulfilled before they reach maturity. Some blessings are only available to people who have completed the procedure. You also made it through. Even while hurting. Even frightened. Even considering giving up. You did the same. And it brings me joy. Because I have greater faith in you today. The person you were previously has changed. Something has changed in you, even if you aren't aware of it yet. You react differently. Consider things in a different way. Anticipate something unusual. The result of mature faith is this. From the self-assurance gained throughout challenging times. And this new you is prepared to bear what you were unable to bear before. You won't be overwhelmed with blessings. Promises won't let you down. Favor won't separate you from me. You now understand that everything originates with me, travels through me, and ultimately returns to me. To improve your hearing, I remained silent. So that even in solitude, you would learn to recognize my presence. In order to prevent him from mistaking sound for direction. In order for it to be directed by more than just feelings. You know who I am now, and you don't simply walk with me. Even in the absence of the indications. Even if there are still clouds on the road. And everything is altered by this degree of spiritual development. Because those who follow their religion don't give up when they're afraid. And the commotion surrounding them doesn't deceive anyone who recognizes my voice. Do you recall saying you were at your breaking point? I observed. I also held you. I kept you from falling. I didn't let your thoughts to rule you. Where there was despair, I walked in calm. Where there was only doubt, I positioned security. And you're here now. Not because it was simple. But since I accompanied you. Furthermore, this is only the start of everything we will go through together. Every lesson learned during this period of silence will serve as a basis. I'll use each tear as fertilizer to help the new thing I'm creating grow. You won't only witness the promise being fulfilled. Additionally, you'll find proof that it was trustworthy. Because I was drawing you nearer to me each time you felt like nothing was occurring. And I can now let go of what I have so closely guarded since your trust has grown. You've matured. You got it. You're prepared. I'm still here, too. Still conversing. I'm still driving. You're still developing something timeless. Because communion is still in place even when the hush has gone. And the imprint of eternity is there in what blossoms after waiting. I am aware that you have been waiting for something for a very long time, but it never seems to materialize. In many instances, it looked as though the promises were just far off, as though time had obliterated what you had thought was achievable, despite the fact that you had prayed, trusted, and even endured suffering. I am aware that you have experienced disorientation, discouragement, and perhaps even the feeling that you have reached the end of your journey. However, I sincerely hope you realize that nothing was overlooked. I witnessed every step you took, every tear you shed, and every effort to remain strong. What you believed was gone and would never come back is suddenly coming back. It is a resurrection rather than a return to the past. What appeared to have died, that you set aside because you had lost hope, will now resurrect. I am the God who raises things that seem to be buried forever and turns death into life. Every dormant dream and every promise obscured by suffering is being resurrected. And the future will surpass your expectations. Before the suffering, before the losses, before the sense that everything was against you, can you recall a time when everything looked possible? I recall. I witnessed the instant when your heart thought that dreams had no boundaries. However, the suffering eventually molded his faith. You began to doubt yourself. You questioned if it was worthwhile to go on and whether the commitments I had made to you were still true. Yes, I did spot you there. Nevertheless, you persisted. You kept walking without even realizing it, and I was counting each step you made. Not even for a second did I leave you alone. Every hardship you went through and every conflict you encountered was a necessary step in getting ready for the major event that is coming up. Your dreams will start to come true today. The seemed unachievable will become feasible. What appeared to be gone will be brought back. And what you once believed would never return now emerges with greater elegance, strength, and purpose. Your suffering will be transformed into witness. What you believed to be the end will instead mark the start of a brand new era marked by prosperity, success, and fulfillment. A new era is upon you, one in which your faith will be rewarded and promises will be kept. I'm restoring what you believed was lost forever. It will be a supernatural restoration rather than a straightforward recuperation. I will return to you in greater proportion what was taken from you. There will be much where there was before none. There will now be provision where there was previously none. The finest part is that you will now witness the assurance of my hand acting where there was uncertainty. I am the infallible God. And all I've said to you will come to pass. I still remember the promises. I still remember you. It wasn't all for nothing that you lived. Now everything you sowed, even in tears, will start to produce results. You can now reach what was unattainable. What seems far away is suddenly drawing near. You will notice doors opening in unexplained ways as I expedite the process. I am the God who makes routes where none exist and opens doors where none exist, so what once seemed impossible will become feasible. I'll call you believe once more now. To have faith in my commitment. Believing in what you believed was no longer possible, in the dreams that are being revived. You will shortly notice the first indication that the fresh is already being created. As you go, more and more things will fall into place, the first doors will open, and the first promises will be kept. In addition to the restoration of what you have lost, you will see the infusion of fresh benefits that you never would have thought you would require but that will now abound in your life. Now, add, I believe, as a remark to show that you have confidence and trust in God's promises. Let this small gesture serve as evidence that you accept the things that are coming into your life. Because I am doing this for everyone around you, not just for you. Your restoration will serve as a tangible reminder of my faithfulness. I am the resurrection God. The finest part is still to come. I am here, and I am abundantly returning to you what you believed you had lost. Did you realize that there are dimensions, locations, and blessings you could never have dreamed of? You have always dealt with what is within your control and have always lived within set bounds. But I'm telling you now, I'm leading you to higher heights, so don't be content with what you now have. You may have assumed that doors would never open, yet the Holy Spirit is opening them. And now you may reach what seemed far away. The seemingly unattainable is now on the verge of becoming a reality. I have more for you than what you are going through right now. There's more. There is more of my grace, more of my supply, more of my guiding, and more of my purpose for your life. And I'm showing you these locations. There will now be expansion where there were previously boundaries. There will now be clarity where there were obstacles. There is now a large, open road ready for you where there was formerly a tiny lane. The focus will shift from what you can accomplish on your own to what I can accomplish through you. You've become accustomed to having restricted vision, but I'm giving you new eyes that will see farther than your own. The blinders that prevented you from seeing the potential that lies before you are being removed by me. I'm demonstrating to you that people who trust in me have no boundaries anymore. What seems unattainable will now become a genuine possibility. Because your faith will determine where you are headed and what you accomplish. I'm broadening your spiritual perspective. I'm giving you more information than you previously believed. I'm guiding you to a new level of comprehension, insight, and revelation when you previously believed you had attained your full potential. And you will be able to see for yourself that there is more. There is yet more to overcome, more to live, and more to encounter. And I'm getting you ready for this. But realize that it won't be simple. A stronger, more mature, and more steadfast faith will be necessary at the next stage. Unwavering trust will be necessary for the new route, even if you don't fully comprehend what's going on. Leaving your comfort zone and venturing into the unknown will need bravery. You will need to be able to fully trust me without attempting to exert control over every little aspect. You won't be able to control it where I'm going you. It will be a journey of obedience, faith, and complete reliance. And I'll be at your side every step of the way, encouraging your faith and helping you make all of your decisions. You are about to embark on a new journey that will not be simple. There will be difficulties along the way. What you will accomplish, however, will surpass all of your previous experiences. Because of this, what I am accomplishing in you is a timeless endeavor that will continue to produce results for centuries to come. And since what I tell you now will serve as a basis for what comes next, you will reap the rewards of this voyage. I am aware of your fear. Fear of what's not known. Fearful of taking that leap of trust. Fear of failing to live up to the life I've called you to. But I assure you that I am the one who goes before you, so don't be scared. The doors will be opened by me. The earth will be prepared by me. And because my hand will be on you, you will walk with confidence. It won't be you walking alone. I'll be by your side the entire time. As an indication that you are prepared to take that leap of faith, watch this video now. Because what is ahead is far more significant than you may have thought. I am introducing you to a new depth of my grace and a new degree of experience. And as you look back, you'll realize that every obstacle, every test, and every faith-filled step was required to get you to the finest I had in store for you. I am your God, and I will always be with you, so don't be scared of what is ahead. You are prepared to experience the best that is yet to come. Your current cycle, which has been filled with many ups and downs and hardships, is coming to a close. You've encountered seemingly never-ending difficulties and endured what seems like an eternity. However, I can assure you that the cycle of challenges is done. It's changing into something new, something you hoped would never end. The conclusion of one season and the start of a new one that is richer, fuller, and more equipped. The new cycle that starts will be characterized by change and the reaping of what you sown, frequently with tears, rather than hardship. Perhaps you questioned why there was so much pain, why there were so many hardships, and why there were so many losses during that tough period. You were uncertain about whether the promises I had given you would truly come to pass as you looked to the future. Now, however, turn around. See how I was always there for you, directing your feet, bolstering your soul, and reviving your strength, even on the most trying evenings, when despondency threatened to take control. I am aware that you considered giving up at times. When you lost sight of the end of the tunnel and doubt hung over your heart. Your heart was visible to me. I witnessed your secret prayers and the moments when you murmured, "I can't handle it any longer," yet you persisted. You underestimated your strength. Even if you were unaware of it, I was there for you every step of the way. Because I was acting in the unseen, even while you weren't aware of it. I was mending what had been damaged, repairing what had been damaged, and getting you ready for the time that has now come. This new cycle marks not just the conclusion of a challenging season but also the start of a journey filled with chances, blessings, and challenges. You will be a different person. Every action you did, every obstacle you encountered, and every waiting period all helped you become ready for this moment. You are smarter, stronger, and more receptive to what I say. You become a more mature version of yourself as a result of the process. You are also equipped to fulfill the promises I made for you because of your maturity. Clarity, insight, and the spiritual sensitivity you cultivated throughout the silent period will now direct your actions. Before, uncertainty and perplexity controlled your movements. You acted rashly, anxiously, and emotionally while making decisions. The calm that transcends all comprehension will now lead you. You'll become aware of the difference. What was previously unclear will now become evident. Now, what seems lost will be restored. Impulsive behavior will no longer be a part of you. The one who waits for the Spirit's guidance will be you. You can tell if a door is the correct one when it opens. You'll be able to tell when an opportunity presents itself, whether it's for you or whether you should wait. Your faith will be stronger and your discernment more acute. Why you were taught to wait, created in stillness, and fortified in times of adversity. All of this will now be used to lead you to the best that God has in store for you. Remember that I prepared you to live in the new world. It's not about doing the same thing over and over again. It's not about reverting to the past. The new is always more ambitious and in line with my everlasting plan for you. The faith you now possess is founded on who I am and what I have vowed to accomplish, rather than being dependent on external factors. Additionally, I keep my word. Remember that you don't have to open the doors when you're ready to move into the future. My Spirit is the one who will guide you, lead you to new locations, and present you with possibilities you never would have thought possible. I'm in front of you, clearing the path. I am the God who comes before you, arranging everything in accordance with my perfect will for your life, so don't worry about what lies ahead. Therefore, keep in mind all you've gone through whenever you feel uncertain or when doubts try to resurface. Keep in mind that you conquered every obstacle. You are now prepared to live what has been made available to you after undergoing testing and approval. The battle cycle is over. The blessings, answers, miracles, and spiritual development cycle started. Additionally, you will live it with greater poise, self-assurance, and purpose. I have helped you up to this point and guided you into this new era. There is yet the best to come. And now you're prepared to live it. There is a change in you. You have embarked on a new chapter in your life, and I will be at your side the entire time. The cycle restarts, but this time it is more sensitive. An increased awareness of spiritual matters. A better understanding of God's work in your life. The greatest is yet to come. And you won't believe how amazing the rest will be.